Waiting for people to come in. This is going to be a bit of a shit one, isn't it? See how it goes. Yeah, it's a bit messy, but who cares? It's depressing. It wasn't the scoreline, it was the manner of the scoreline happened. Can't defend. Can't defend. Can't defend the football club because the football club can't defend. Welcome to the aftermath. Yes, Town got absolutely obliterated today by Premier League Wolves by 6 goals to 1, and it was awful to watch. Really bad game. It certainly was a really bad game. Now, there's lots to run through really with this one tonight. But I was reading this post. It was a disgrace. Roland has to sell. Appleton has to go. I've made me mind up now. You know, you think they'd give it a go, wouldn't you? Against you think it was that the game was awful performance. Not bothered at all. But Wolves did play with their main team. They did, but you'd expect our players to really put a shift in, you know, and some of them did, and some of them didn't. Oh, I think it's definitely time for him to go. Definitely time. You know, he's got the worst record I've ever seen as a manager, as a Shrewsbury Town manager. Even it's worse than Matt Taylor's and even John Askey. You know, on ratio, it's really bad. But reading some of the stuff on Facebook, biggest killers will. Yeah, that third goal killed the game, didn't it? Really did kill us off. And we had a slight little bit of hope after getting the penalty, which I don't think we'd have got if we were in a League Two game. And I don't think that penalty would have been given, but because it's a Premier League side and a Premier League referee, I imagine they're used to giving penalties like that, aren't they? So, but yeah, today was disappointing. On the plus side, great point for Harrogate. See you next week, so yep. Just coming back from Burton Wood and Brewers. Also recalling Jack to put him in the second half there in Appleton, saying he isn't part of the team in his post-match. I mean, yeah, what is that all about? I really can't work out what that is all about. But can't work out what my ear's all about. It's a bit stuck up at the moment. Who cares? I'm not long got in anyway. And it's been a bit of a drab. Yeah, no Isaac England. I'd have thought, yeah, he'd have been at least, wasn't he on the bench? I don't think he was on the bench either. So, but yeah, there is this post that I read, and I don't know who posted it, but somebody sent it on to me. And I was reading it, and I'm going to read it out to you guys now, this post. And so basically, I don't know who put the post. I saw it on Facebook. It says FA Cup third round, the Shrewsbury story. They beat South Shields away 3-1, and then they quite convincingly, and they're top of the National League North. So that gives us hope that we might do well if we were in that league. But and then we won away at Sutton. Probably a little bit lucky, a bit fortunate, and things went our way on the night. But today, FA Cup third round, the Shrewsbury story. Draw Premier League Wolves away. Tick. Chairman bleats in the press about Wolves, understandably lowering ticket prices. But it makes us look stupid, him doing that. And I agree with that as well. Chairman requests smallest amount of tickets on offer. Now, with everybody screaming about trying to get a ticket this week, we would have probably sold the 4,700 or 4,650 that we were given, that we would have been given, instead of whatever it was we sold today, 3,000. It is Wolves, to be honest. Yeah, but sometimes you gotta raise your game and take the advantage of Wolves not having the best season themselves, although they've uptailed in the last few weeks and got some good results. But anyway, I'm going back to this. Well, the FA could fine Wolves for that because they're supposed to have 15%, and we were only given 10%. They were definitely way better than us, but were they better than probably the best of the League Two sides that we've played? Well, how much better than them are they? Probably a lot. But last season there was a lot of good sides in League One, and that did to us what Wolves did, but obviously didn't punish us the way, and we didn't let them get the goals that way. So I'd say Wolves would be, pretty good in the Championship right now. I don't think if they'd have played Arsenal or Manchester City, it would be like, well, it should have been at least in double figures. Wolves missed a lot of chances today. Yeah, but Manchester City and Wolves is two different things, isn't it? If we'd played Manchester City, they'd probably scored 16, 17 or 18 goals against us today. They would have. There's no doubt about that. We gave Wolves too much respect. We didn't rough them up. And that's why we lost by that scoreline. If we'd have given them some respect, roughed them up, whatever, and like we normally do when we play against bigger sides. We did it to Liverpool. Don't forget, we roughed them up at home, away. It was the youth team, and then obviously we got drawn with them away. I think if we played City away, it would be 0-0. No, no. Manchester City would probably. It would have been a record defeat if we'd played Manchester City today. It would have been a record defeat. Man of the match for me was, well, McDermott did try, but you can see he hasn't got the experience there with him. And the big problem for McDermott is he hasn't got any experience alongside him. But going back to this post that I read online. So where did we stop? Because we went off on a tangent then. So we stopped with the chairman requests the smallest amount of ticket on offer. Superb fans back the club and snap up all the tickets, which we did. Request more for Wolves, but costed for lower amount and get refused. And then today, all the trains were cancelled. Motorway chaos. Fans still find a way to get there. Yep, I was supposed to get a train, but I ended up on a bus. And somebody still believes that we're going to be drawn 0-0 with Manchester City. Maybe the youth team. If Manchester City played the youth team. Anyway. So, superb fans back the club and snap up all the tickets. Done that. So, all trains were cancelled. Motorway chaos. I ended up going on a bus. I was supposed to go on a train, but I ended up on a bus because the trains were cancelled because of something happened to the signal boxes due to the weather. And therefore, we ended up going on the bus, and we had to walk from the train station where the bus dropped us off to the Wolves ground, and then the council haven't even bothered to try and clear any of the snow up on the way. It was horrendous. People were falling over everywhere trying to walk to the stadium from the train station. It was quite comical in places, but could have been dangerous. So let's hope nobody got hurt trying to walk on those roads today. Surely somebody probably did. So, after getting there, the struggle to get there, we have a clueless, spineless, calamitous joke of a performance, this person says, seeing us totally embarrassed on live TV. And I suppose it was really. The third goal was very calamitous. The first goal, there was like a lot of shapes for offside. I was kind of in line. I wasn't sure whether it was onside or off. And then obviously no VAR, so it must have been clearly onside, I presume, the first goal. But what can you do? Marquis scored a penalty. That's a plus point. He's missed his last few. So there you go. Marquis scored from the penalty spot. Well, he missed a few last season. Has he scored this season from the penalty spot? I can't remember. But anyway, Appleton stands there, hands in pockets, emotionless, clueless for the entire game. I don't know, because I couldn't quite see what Appleton was doing from where I was. So I can't really. The knowledge that the worst performing manager in the history will still be our manager tomorrow. Now that is a frightening thing. If he's still our manager, it is worrying times, because surely that now, okay, the Premier League club, but last week losing 3-0 at home to Bristol Rovers, he should have been gone right there and then. But obviously he's given him a transfer window, which means he's going to be here Monday, I imagine. But the record speaks for itself. The knowledge that the chairman and all others responsible for this mess are going nowhere. Well, yes. Surely, now somebody told me today, don't know how many times I've heard it, but it seems to be repeated from fan to fan, that the club have been in contact with 18 potential buyers in the last 18 months. So that's one a month. And that's been doing the circuit today. Don't know if it's true, but if so, surely out of 18 potential buyers, there surely had to have been one that should have been considered or could have been considered. Surely more, because why would they? And then the last little bit that this person's put is joke club embarrassment. The fans are too good for the club right now, which is 100% true. All the fans that go to the games now are too good for the club right now, at this moment in time. You know, and it's worrying times. It's very worrying. Actually, it was someone called Paul Turner who wrote all that, I think. So, and I agree totally with him. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think? Right, let's have you all type in yes or no. Should Appleton go Monday morning? Yes or no? Go on. Let's see you pop up on the screen now. I want to see these yeses or nos. Let's count them up. Who's watching right now? Should Appleton be given the sack on Monday or tomorrow? Nobody's. Oh, not much response here, is there, on this one? It's almost as if someone's blocked it. Can't see. Is there any messages coming up? Are you logged on, Tomsk?
No.
Can you log on so I can see messages? I think it might have frozen. See if I'm frozen or not. Because I'm sure people would respond to that. For some reason it's not coming up. Are you on yet? Yeah. Is there messages coming up?
The last one was, I'd say yes as long as the replacement
Yeah.
has a cut through.
Can I have a little look, because it's not coming up on my phone for some reason. I don't know why. So we got a lot of no's there from Gemma Haynes. Steve Wilson says yes. So I'm going to have to look at oh, we've had like loads. There's been loads in the chat and it hasn't been coming up on my phone itself. So how do I turn this volume down on this one? Yeah, you turn it down so I can see the chat now. So yeah, I don't know why it's not coming up on my phone now, but I've got this chat up. You'll never sing that. Champions of Shropshire. Blimey, there's all sorts going on here. So I'd say as long as the replacement has a proven record, to right Del Boyd 72. Del Boyd 72. Yep. Totally agree. We've got to have somebody that's proven, that's been there before. Lara 1002 says no. Why not get Sam Clucas as player manager? Well, possibly an option. We don't know. Is Sam Clucas been doing his coaching badges? If so, it might be worth a shout. Dave Byrne says yes, 100%. But let's have a look. Let's have a think now. What managers are available? So, can you tell me what managers are available? I think Darren Ferguson's available. Could we afford Darren Ferguson's wages? Maybe if he wants to get back into football, but probably not. Would probably do a runner like a Mr. Ainsworth. But I don't know. So, Ruben Amorim. Now, is that possible? Probably not. But it wouldn't be a bad shout if we could afford him. Enzo Maresca. Yeah, I think we best start looking. So, I'd probably attempt Darren Ferguson. Well, certainly he might fall into the price range category. He might. And then again, he might just turn around and say, sod off. But if not Darren Ferguson, then there's Big Dunk, who did very well at Inverness Caledonian Thistle. And then they had all their points deducted, and then he hasn't managed since. But, you know, so the two Fergusons are available. Graham Turner, if only. Zidane, Ferguson, Pep. No, it's not going to happen. Gavin Cowan from Brackley. Good shout. Good shout, that one. Graham Turner. If Graham Turner was 10 years younger, 15 years younger, yes, absolutely. But I'm afraid, you know, I don't think he would want to do that now at his age. Yeah, Gav is the Brackley manager, so it wouldn't be a bad choice. If he left Walsall, I'd take Matt Sadler. Absolutely, 100%. All the players said several years ago, I think there was a question, if any of the Shrewsbury Town squad would be a decent manager, who would it be? And every single player, I think it was when Ricketts was here, when Ricketts was manager, and they all said Matt Sadler would be the guy who would make a good manager out of every player. So around about the Paul Hurst, Sam Ricketts crossover time, I think that was said. And 100%, yeah, Matt Sadler, yeah, he's got the brains. They say he's really, really football clued up, intelligent wise, which a lot of players aren't. They just know their position. They just want to kick the ball around. As where there are some that like the chess side of it, which is the managerial side of it. So my uncle is the assistant manager of Brackley. Well, you know, it wouldn't be a bad shout, Gav Cowan. I totally agree. If we're going to go down the route of on the cheaper side, but if you're going to pay for it, then I don't know. Well, Steve Evans was here anyway, wasn't he, several weeks ago, and then he went and became manager of Bristol Rovers. So that was the end of that. Yep, I agree. Gav Cowan would be a good choice. So, and so, what's going to happen this week is Appleton will probably stay, but it's good to know people's opinions because I imagine he probably has one or two more signings that are in the fire, and would probably like to bring him in. I do honestly think though, we've signed 2 centre forwards so far, which is good because we needed goal scorers. But the real issue, I believe, is defensively, and well, you could just see, poor old Anderson. He just hasn't got the legs. He was just getting pulled around, ragged, and Boyle didn't seem 100% today either. So it would be interesting to see if we get a centre half in this week, and maybe we get 2, another experienced one that's a bit more mobile than Anderson, or maybe we could rely on Boyle for that experience, but certainly need to bring in a younger centre half, obviously to replace Stubbs because, as it's been said, Stubbs is off. So we need someone in that's young, got a bit of pace, and can play that role, and perhaps to slot in alongside maybe 2. And I do think we need a midfielder, a bit more combative midfielder. Someone who's a ball winner, somebody who works hard, got the engine, and will keep going to the bitter end. That's what we need. We need some fight.
I know.
And you need a combative midfielder to fight the battles and try and win those midfield battles and just be all over the place, basically, like a man possessed. We need someone like that. We don't have that. And if we can sort out a couple of centre halves and maybe another left back to replace Ben in, I say we need 3 or 4 players in. Don't need any more strikers. There's no point.
Some more new comments.
So some new comments just come in. Macclesfield defenders were brilliant today. Worth a look. Yes, I haven't seen any of the Macclesfield game, but I'll probably have a look at the highlights on YouTube or whatever, or wherever in a bit on my phone. Macclesfield players are too expensive. Well, they might be for Roland's pocket. You never know. I don't know if this is. Don't hold me on this one, but somebody said that Harry Lewis plays for Southampton, that used to play on the town's youth team. We sold him to Southampton. Apparently, we made a bid for him and offered him £500 a week wages. Is that for real? If that's true, that is an absolute joke. Well, that one was doing the rumours around today. So there's loads of things you get told, and I don't mind sprouting it on here because that's what fans do anyway. So if it wasn't me sprouting up what everybody else is saying, then you'd probably have heard it anyway. But anybody else heard of that one? Offered him £500, a goalkeeper that has played for Southampton. Not good, that, is it? If so, we've got Chucks running around earning a fair chunk of dough a week. Well, not running around, walking around. Poor old Chucks. I think his legs have really had it, and that was a silly idea to try and buy him. I think it was a silly idea to bring him, to sign him, to bring him in on, certainly on the wages, if it's true. You see, you get all these rumours from fans. You don't know if they're true or not. You don't know if they're legit. I don't know if they're legit. Well, that's the word on the street, isn't it? We have 7 strikers. Well, yeah, we do have 7 strikers. We don't need any more, but how many of those are going to get 20 goals a season? Not one of them. That was here when we had 5, but now we've got 2 extra ones. Maybe one of them could be a 20 goal striker at this level. I don't know. Yeah. Well, yeah, that Ewan Morgan, I think he got something like about 20 something goals for the youth team at, where did we get him from? Brentford. So yeah, Brentford youth team in the Premier League too. He'd had 20 something goals. So hopefully, you know, if he can get his goal scoring boots on, we get a centre half in, we shore up the defence, get a combative midfielder in, put some bite in the midfield, then hopefully we got some goals up front, and we can start winning some games. But that will only happen if you bring in what you need, and I think we can all agree we definitely need a centre half or 2, and maybe even a left back, and that's absolutely bang on what we need. We don't need any more strikers. I don't think we need any more sort of attack-minded midfielders, but we need someone who's like experienced, perhaps in the midfield, who can hold the line, who can fight and bite and chase things down, and I think we'll be all right if we can do that, but it's got to be done quite soon, hasn't it? So everything clicks into place for the latter end of the season, for the push to get up away from these relegation spots, because that's the most important thing. Regardless of what happened today, the most important thing is now we start winning in the league. Cups are all gone. There's nothing else to play for apart from 3 points a week, and that's what we got to do. And if we don't do that, or we fail to do that, then it's into the soup and into the mire and down into non-league or the national leagues. I don't think you call the national leagues non-league anymore, because professional teams in the national league still, and that's going to be very difficult. So we'd need a massive rebuild, I think, in the summer. Anyway, coming up to about half an hour gone, I'm going to have to start to do a bit of an edit, I suppose, on today's vlog. Not sure when it will be on, because I have a party to attend tomorrow, so I might not be able to edit it and get it up on time for tomorrow night, but I'm sure you're not really all looking forward too much to it anyway. Some of you do, some of you don't, but if we're losing 6-1, it's going to be... I didn't get angry today. I got angry last week against Bristol Rovers, but I did not get angry today. I was just quite sarcastic with things I was coming out with, but it is what it is. It's not nice losing to local rivals, Premier League or not. It's not nice losing to Wolves, because we are one of their lesser derbies, but we are considered a derby, which is quite commendable, considering that they're Premier League, but we are considered it. But that's about it. A lesser derby. I think they'd rather play Walsall, wouldn't they, really? Anyway. And so, that's going to wrap up this week's Aftermath. Hope you enjoyed the conversation and the fan engagement. Unfortunately, the result, again, wasn't there today. We're out the FA Cup. We've got things to do in the league. Possible protests as well against Harrogate next Saturday, and maybe there will be a protest. I don't know. I expect the fans are. Big talk of it today. There's been big talk of it for the last couple of weeks, pointing this game out as a protest game, and I suppose we've got to vent ourselves and make ourselves heard, and that's about it, really. So we're coming up to 30 minutes. Thanks for watching. Don't forget the vlog tomorrow, and see you all next time.